Hey everybody, it's DJ Jazzy Kat back on KatzTracks Radio this morning, this afternoon, wherever you're listening in from. My guest in studio this morning, well, not really in studio, but in his home, my friend Bill Price. Good morning to you, Bill. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. How's the temperature out there in Indiana?
It is cold today, but it's January, so, that's comes with the territory.
There you go. Well, welcome into this show. I'm glad that I finally got to make that connection with you, huh?
I appreciate you having me. This is awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I was going through Facebook, scrolling through, and I saw you having a little bit of fun out there with that music and a little bit of toe tap and stuff. And of course, when you, another person hears an artist such as yourself, you can't help but wonder, what do you do? Let the folks know what's going on.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's what we're all doing, putting our creativity out there. So,
well, I'm very, very impressed with what you do. So, I'm sure folks are going to want to go over and listen to your music. But you've got quite the impressive resume. You've been doing a lot of music for quite some time. You've got 3 EPSs out there, some singles with the CDs. So some of the European stations are playing your music.
Yeah, I would probably categorize myself as more of a recording artist than a performing artist.
Sure.
I mean, I do play gigs, but what I'm really passionate about is writing songs and figuring out the best way to arrange them and what musicians to use and going in the studio and working with a good engineer and having usually the engineer and the other musicians kind of co-produce, just working as a team. And that whole process to me is just so fascinating, even back to, the seed of what inspired the song. And I don't know. It's just it's like this sort of cosmic thing that it's not always cosmic,
sure.
But many times it's I don't know. There's just nothing like it. I'm just kind of addicted to that, and I have a background. What I went to college for was I got a degree in graphic design, so I've always loved album covers, and so there's this whole visual side to that process that I do, and I don't know, it's the whole thing. It's kind of pretty much all I've kind of wanted to do since I was in junior high, Well, so fortunately it's kind of affordable for individual, do-it-yourself, self-funded people to do that. And yeah, I have I think it's maybe now it's like 10 albums, and they're not all full-length albums. Like I said, some are EPs, and then a couple of them, they're all the full-length albums are pretty long. I mean, they're over 70 minutes, and then one of those projects is a double record with a book and a journal that was inspired by a trip out west. So, any of these sort of formats and ideas that sort of take off in my brain, I just kind of pursue them as best I can, and so that's why I have so much stuff.
Well, it's very impressive, very colorful. And like you said, it does take a little while to do something like this. Do you have a favorite of any of the album covers that you've made? And something like that, it resonates with certain people. Is there something that's your favorite out of all of them?
There's a couple. I did an EP a few years ago, and it was called Kicking Angels. And like I mentioned, I'm a graphic designer. I did a lot of photography, but I'm not really a fine artist or a painter. But I wanted to do something real simple with this maybe kind of energetic angel image. I thought I should be able to paint something like that. Something very loose. And, I was getting some things that were okay, but they weren't kind of knocking my socks off. So I thought, I'm going to kind of take the easy way out, and I'm going to do like a whole slew of really small paintings and then put them in a grid. So the collection of those becomes the image, and so not not one in particular is the main image. So it was a bit of a cop-out, actually. But so I just picked all these different styles and tried to mimic them, and that became the cover. And I ended up, they're little 4-inch by 4-inch paintings, and I ended up doing over 60 of them.
Wow.
And it was just a blast. And so I picked, you know, however many, 16 or something for the cover, and there's some on the back. And so I really, that was just a lot of fun. And then there was an album I did with my side project, a band I have called The Brains Behind Pa, and actually built like it's like a three-dimensional collage. You know, it's kind of like you used to see those in antique stores, those type cases.
Sure.
People would put little knickknacks and antiques.
Like a shadow box?
Yeah, exactly. That's the word. So I kind of built this from all these parts, and then all the little figures and stuff in there were reflective of, you know, one of the songs or the lyrics in the songs. And so this, you know, we built this thing, and I had a guy take a photograph of it, and so that was a pretty unique and fun project. But I don't know, I enjoy doing all of them. I try to make them all a little bit different.
There you go. Now, do you sign them off, and do people want them? That's what I want to know. Do they want to buy it? Because you're giving me a visual, and I absolutely love it. Closing my eyes, picturing the shadow box, picturing the angel's wings around it. Do people actually, you know, they're like, wow, this is great. Let's, you know, can I get one of those?
You mean like the original piece
Yeah,
painting?
Sure.
Well, actually, I did have a couple friends ask me about that. Are you going to sell those? I said, well, eventually. You know, one thing I want to do, I've kind of tried to do this in the past. I actually have a couple times, is to do a show based around the big project that I wrote was inspired by a trip out west to the Black Hills and out to Glacier National Park, and I kept a journal. And kind of inspired by Lewis and Clark. I stopped at a lot of their places, and so this thing was called I Can't Stop Looking at the Sky, and so you'd have to see this thing, but it's an oversized thing with these oversized lyric booklets, and every spread in these oversized lyric booklets are different, and I used photography from all these just gorgeous sky photos from people that I found online. And long story short, I ended up framing and matting and framing a lot of the pages of the design of these lyric booklets, and I did a couple little posters in there. And so I actually did a couple shows at like a very small library or little art gallery with this artwork, and it's really more graphic design, but that displayed on the walls. But then I would do with like a trio, I would do kind of a scaled down version of this project and do some readings from the journal and from the little book that accompanied it. And so I kind of want to do a little bit bigger thing like that, and not just include things from that project, but include some of the other covers and some of the posters I've designed for my gigs and things like that. I'm trying to rehab this piece. I mentioned the shadow box piece, and I thought, you know, that I have all the pieces of it, but that would be a very cool thing to have, you know. So basically have a gallery show, but then have a concert and accompany that. So,
well, I think you're a great storyteller. That's wonderful. I love it.
That's a big project to pull off. So I haven't been able to do that just yet to the scale that I want. Like I said, I've done it kind of in a small way a couple times. But anyway, you know, that's kind of trying to put the visuals out there as well as the music. But the music is the main thing, really.
Sure, definitely, and it touches you in a special kind of a way. You've got some new stuff that you're working on, right? You're going to be putting out there?
Yeah, I mentioned this side project I have called The Brains Behind Pa, and we had a big kind of a period where we really didn't do much because I was doing my other stuff, and it's like I started accumulating all these songs that I thought would be really good for this band. The band is kind of more of a rootsy Americana based. I mean, the name of the band comes from a Bob Dylan lyric, so it sort of falls loosely in that category, you know. And so we just went in and started right before COVID, and was not very focused on exactly what we wanted to do. I said, let's just start recording. And I don't know, we just had such a blast that we just kept recording. And over a period of about 5 years, we had close to 40 songs. So early 2025, we released the first of 3 albums. And the second one is all mixed, and the third one is almost mixed. So there's going to be another 2 albums come out. From that whole recording session process.
So how many songs on that one album?
The first one, I think there's maybe 13. They're all like over 70 minutes, and so I don't know, which is kind of long for albums, but I kind of I don't know. Being independent, it's like, well, it's expensive to put albums out. I'm just
do it one time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually kind of look at them like you would look at you go to a concert, it's like an hour and a half, So
yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
sometimes 2 hours long, you're right. And the average song is between 3 and 4 minutes, right? That's what most people portray.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of ours are pretty long. The tunes that I sent to you, I tried to find ones that were not so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of mine are kind of short, and some of them are. I just kind of do them the way they seem to feel like they need to be done, and I don't worry too much about the length.
There you go. There you go. Well, things have changed over the years. There's been so many different artists around the world. And like I said, when I saw you up on the Facebook and you were, jamming out there, I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I think this is something I want to listen to. So definitely folks are going to be able to hear you on rotation with the station too, with all of your music. So, some of your music that you sent over, I'm excited about it.
Oh, I really, really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Now, in hindsight, a lot of folks, they'll ask all the time, we want to know where we can find your music, where they can purchase your music, and if they want to follow you on the platforms. Do you have all that information?
Yeah, I always hope and try to direct people to my website, because that's, I can kind of control how that looks and the content and everything. And it's pretty simple. It's billprice.info, I-N-F-O. And I have song samples of every song I've recorded on there. And, my discography page shows the albums and which songs are on there. So it's also, my music is on Spotify and Apple Music and all those kinds of platforms and on YouTube. The only issue is that there are multiple Bill Prices out there. So I think there's a bluegrass guy and maybe a blues guy. And so I know sometimes people will pull up something and think it's mine, and it's like, well, no, that's another Bill Price.
That's all right. I'll put the link up too on our page so folks can check it out. Definitely on my page. Yeah, and KatzTracks Radio. I'll put that up for you. This way, people, if they want to know, how to go and listen to where you're at, it'll be easier.
Yeah, it's on, CD Baby, where all the independent people are, and I would prefer people would purchase it directly from me, but that's kind of limited to a CD format, which I don't know. A lot of people still listen to CDs.
They do. Sure.
We're doing a vinyl 45. That's supposed to be out soon, but it's all at this point. Everything's on compact disc.
Well, listen, you got to keep me updated on that record, because you said a 45. You're going to do the smaller one. The record.
Yeah, it's a track from the Brains Behind Paul album, the most recent project. It's called Beggar's Belief, and this is a track from that. It's called Tangerine Guillotine.
Okay.
And then the flip side, we did like this alternate mix, which was just a blast. The engineer and I just kind of reassembled things, and it's kind of falls in that crazy Tom Waits category.
All right. Well, I'm going to buy one of your 45s. You'll have to keep me updated. I have a record player here.
I will send you one.
Thank you. But I'll play it out. I'll definitely play it out. I have a record player. I'm Gen X here all the way. Totally love records. You can't miss the BPMs on those, because the needle hits it just right?
Yep.
Yeah, great job, always. Is there any final thoughts, Bill, that you want to let our listeners know? They've got a bucket load of information. They're going to be able to see and hear your music through KatzTracks Radio. Of course, you'll be played in rotation on the station. And any final thoughts today?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I'd let people know a lot of my music's inspired by nature, not all of it, but and I try to go out to the Northwest every year. I do these little mini tours out there, and so a lot of that's inspiration to me. And there's certainly other things I write about, but that is near and dear to me, and so that's why I keep going out there. It keeps the inspiration coming. So I guess that's kind of the core of what I do.
Well, that's a great job as always. I love it. I absolutely am intrigued, and I'm sure our listeners are going to absolutely love your music too. So, again, Bill, thank you so much for calling into the station today, and I'm sure we will hear more from you soon, right?
Yes. Thank you, Kat, so much for your support. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. You have a wonderful day, and we'll catch up soon, all right?
All right, you too.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.